Welcome back, everyone. LanceScurvX here, coming back at you with another one. I like to do it this way. When certain thoughts hit me, I hit the camera and we talk. And that always brings me into another particular topic to speak about. And my phone is on, and we don't need to have those notifications coming on. So while I'm talking, this is an impromptu video anyway. While I'm talking, I'm gonna go and shut the sound off so we don't get interrupted. Okay, just gonna take a second. Yes, almost there. That's just not human error, but sometimes you overlook things, right? So now we have silence. I'll check anything that comes after the video is over. It's sunny. The sun is right in my eye, and that sun is going to disappear a little bit because there's some thick clouds, not rain clouds, but it's going to just kind of block it out. But I love laying out here. This is one of the sweet spots of my home. And my bedroom is right there. So lots of times I come out at nighttime before I go to sleep and just lay out here and look over, the mountains and everything. Look at the lights and the houses and the cars going by. It's just relaxing, But we were speaking about on one of the prior shows that we did, the prior show that I did, where I was speaking about certain things and Respect the Truth and Sister Diane, they gave me a compliment. They basically said, "Oh, you have a lot of wisdom. You're not going to have a midlife crisis." Yeah, and I'm going to mention those who I appreciate, who come in, who add on to the show with their presence and who bring wisdom. But I just wanted to say that that's the time when you may get a compliment, that the mistake that I've found with people is that their heads blow up. They get full of themselves and they start to believe that they're the all-knowing. And that's not good. I can take a compliment. Thank you. But you'll never see me get big-headed with me thinking that I know everything. Because the time that you begin to understand that you're beginning to gather some knowledge and wisdom and perspective is the time you have to have systems in place to check yourself so that you don't get this sense of arrogance. Like with people that come into power, or people who do have wisdom, it intoxicates them lots of times. And us being human, it can do that. But you have to be wise enough. If you're truly wise, you got to be wise enough to be able to check yourself before you get to that point, to wipe the slate clean. You go into a classroom, there was a really great lesson taught, and you don't leave the lesson on the blackboard. You erase it so you can do another lesson to learn to go even higher. You see what I mean? Wisdom is like air. We need air to breathe. We need air for the oxygen. But when you inhale, you can only inhale but so much. When you gain wisdom, you can only inhale, or you can only absorb so much before you have to exhale. Not to get rid of the wisdom, but to make room for more. Because once you get to that certain level of understanding, you have to absorb it. It's not one continuous inhale. No, it's no good. The air that you inhaled fed you through the oxygen, but to get more, you've got to exhale, right? Because now what you have inside of you is no good anymore if you stay on that level and just feast on that oxygen from that one inhale, if you can get me, if you understand me. So it's a process. You breathe in, you let out. You let out to make room to receive more. But if you're too high off of what you've learned in wisdom, that may be great to someone else who may not be on your level. But you got to understand there are other people out here in the world who know way more than you. There are people that know way more than me. But the trick is to make use of the wisdom, not because of your ego, not to be seen, to be heard, because you want people to bow down to you and say how much you know and how much. No, it's not for that. When you get this wisdom, you don't own it. When you get this wisdom, it's It's for you to share it, because now you're making use of it. Because once you get something, that you get a perspective that's elevated that you didn't know before, help the next man out who's reaching for that, as long as he has humbled himself to be able to get more. Because you have other people who, whether they're on a higher level than you or a lower level than you, and I really can't say higher or lower, because it's not like what you may know. Say, let's break it down this way. If a person is a carpenter and they know a lot about carpentry and they learned something from a master carpenter that helped their workflow, that made it where they work more efficient, like, wow, I learned something today. Well, the person in the kitchen in a bakery, that may not help him out. So it's not higher or lower, but it's all connected sideways. And I never refuse any knowledge. I may take the knowledge from the carpenter and store it away if he shares it with me. I put it in my head, because I might come across a situation if I'm doing some home improvement tasks. I say, I remember that. The baker might teach me something about, baking cakes, baking biscuits, or whatever. It may seem irrelevant or something that you can't use at the time, but all wisdom is good. This is why growing up, I was so greedy, and I'm just going to say it that way, not greedy like that, like the common way, but to read. I had such a thirst to read. And there were people who thought that maybe I was educated in some university eventually. No, I just read. Even if it's something that may not seem relevant or may not seem like something I may like. It's not about like. It's if I can use it, because all knowledge is good. But we can't get arrogant when in a certain area of expertise, one of my favorite sayings, right? We get to be known for having so much off the hip that people will admire that, but you have to understand they're admiring the collection of wisdom bites that you have. It's not necessarily you. See, you're useful to them, as you should be. You have to be of servitude when you do learn certain things. What good is it if you die with it inside of you? What good is it if you're only using it for an ego boost, as many do on social media? They may even fake like they know certain things. I know certain content creators very well, and they will go and listen to another person's video and kind of memorize the talking points and then come and say it like it's their own. Well, that's not a crime per se, but it is a crime because you're trying to do this just to get the notoriety of being known as a person who's full of wisdom. And there's one in particular, several ones that they portray this so hard online, and their life is a mess. You may not know them, you may not think that they portray themselves a certain way, but when you know the inner workings of their life and the dirty things that they've done to people, then you're like, okay, we know it's a front. Don't even waste your time trying to expose that. Spend your time trying to go higher. Spend your time trying to elevate yourself every day, incrementally. That's another favorite word of mine. Words are powerful. When you speak certain words to yourself, it gives you a certain benefit. And I'll just tell you this, that word incrementally, lots of times our minds can sometimes, as human beings, right, we can become overwhelmed. And we have a task in front of us that it just seems so complicated or just a lot to do. Like, oh man, I got to do this, I got to do that. Whatever. Back it up. Put that word in your head. A bug. Trying to fly in my mouth. I'm going to do this incrementally. I'm going to do this in small, attainable, conquerable, bite-sized pieces. The rest is there and I see it, but I'm not looking at the rest right now. I'm going to not feel overwhelmed. I'm going to break it down into parts that I can deal with, that I can digest each day. That's how you do it. And don't look at the other parts. Like they say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step forward, one step after the other, one step after the other. Don't even worry about, I only got 10 miles. I only did 50 miles. No, just keep stepping. And you realize that you would have accrued the distance, you would have reached your goal. And lots of times you look up and you're already there, right? That's the beauty of it, incrementally. But back to the whole wisdom thing. This universe is so vast, and like they say, the more one thinks they know is the more they realize how much they don't know. So how dare we get arrogant over what we have learned that somebody else can use, because there's so many people out here who can utilize what you've accumulated in life. And that's the joy, that what you've learned is helpful to someone who wants to come out of a certain type of chaos, calamity, quagmire, puzzle, obstacle, that your words and connecting with them and knowing how to communicate it with the person that needs it. Because lots of times we have people who just want to speak words and the person is not absorbing it. If you do have some kind of wisdom, know how to make it where they can digest it. Not, again, looking for this ego boost. We have too many people, and social media has it's done good on certain levels of instruction, of learning information. Like, okay, YouTube can be a blessing and a curse at the same time, right? But for those who go there for information, to better themselves on certain topics, a home improvement topic, or maybe something psychological, something emotional that you're going through or trying to understand, maybe a narcissist that's around you. Now you understand it now because it was broken down. Make sure that a person can absorb what it is instead of getting up there and posturing and posing because you want an ego boost and you want attention. Me, myself, I've had attention all my life. All my life. Again, it's not just about bodybuilding, but I know what it's like to be on stage and get a standing ovation just by the way I'm built, by the way my posing routine was choreographed, or whatever other things too. That's a small part, but it's still with me, because at the formative years through adolescence, when most young men are insecure, I was doing something that put me ahead on certain levels where I didn't have to deal with that insecurity. I had the confidence to know, which carries over into other parts of my life, which helped me not to have to prove something to somebody. I don't have to talk about, well, I have money and I got money and I have this and I am this. No, I'm not a rich guy, right? But there's some people that are so barely making it ends meet, but they want to have the facade. That's just one example of having it together. Why are you working so hard for a facade that is not real? Why not work hard for something that's real? And even then, many of us work hard, and I said this on the earlier video, for a status, to accrue more material goods around us, but it's not doing anything for those voids inside of us. I'm not going to repeat all of that again. If you saw that video, you know what I was saying, but it makes no sense. It's the true filling of the voids and the true happiness, the exchange of good energy. You know, the other day, I did a favor for someone, and I'm not even going to say what it is. I'm not even going to look for any. I don't need that. It's an energy that you pass on. And I treated them very nice. They were going through some stuff, and I made the way for them for something, and I sat and talked with them, and it felt so good that it made me feel useful. It made me feel valuable. Not that I don't feel valuable. What I'm saying is that to be able to give what you have in abundance, what you have taken time to build from within, this is what keeps it where when I say, or people tell me, they say, man, you know, I look at your videos sometime when you're up on that top balcony, man, it looks like paradise back there. Yes, it looks like paradise back there. But it is. But what about the inner paradise? That's what keeps me, right? That's where I live. The outside looks wonderful. But even when I was in chaotic surroundings or antagonistic energies through people who collectively tried to smear or get other people to rally against you, it didn't bother me, because I have the inner peace and the inner paradise. And I guess maybe they think I'm crazy or whatever. It's very frustrating to those people, and I'm laughing on the inside, because just like you sit in the sun and you enhance your melanin and you absorb vitamin D and the other unknown vitamins and minerals that the sun gives you that man hasn't yet discovered yet, because man is so late on things. You need the sun, right? When you think about solar power and how the sun, the light can give power, that you can power your home when you get it and cultivate it. When you look at a Wi-Fi signal, it's the same concept. You don't see this thing. We see the sunlight, but what's coming from it? And through our skin, we absorb it, and it gives us the physical light and also a spiritual light if we tune in the right way, right? There's so many things in this world that if we learn how to disconnect from the filth and the negativity that's all around us and connect with what's around us that we can absorb, that's good for us to create that inner paradise. And no matter where you are, no matter what situation you're in, when it's not the paradise around you, which is not always going to be that way, you can shift your energy source to what you have on the inside. So if I'm locked up in a room, typing out an article, talking out a video, doing some graphics, whatever, I like to do that as well as other things, my artwork, listening to music, talking good conversation, stimulating, sharing wisdom, having wisdom shared with me, and I process it, try it out in the outside world and say, hey, this works. Now I can pass it on. It's nothing that I own or anybody owns. So I cannot ever get big-headed over this because I have been blessed to have the opportunity to absorb it through my own dealings or those who are generous with me. But remember, when you inhale, you have to exhale to make room for more oxygen to go higher, right? I could use another example, but that's a bit adult, so we'll leave that one alone. I'll say it, since, and I'm saying this in a very decent way, and I'll say in a decent way so you don't have to run the kids away. In the act of intimacy between a man and a woman, the man feels the pleasure when he thrusts in, but if he wants more, he's got to come back out and go back in again. You understand? So it creates motion. So anything righteous, if you're to absorb it the way it is in nature and the way they set it up, you have to clean the slate and go back again and be ready. You can't order furniture from the furniture store. Say you want a new living room set, and when the truck comes to deliver your living room set, whichever way it is, sectional or just separate couches, you don't have the old one there. Or if you agree to have them take it out, they've got to take it out first before they put the new one in. You can't keep the old one there and say, well, just put it on top. No, then you can't fit any more furniture there and it's cluttered. So you got to clear the slate so that you have an open mind that now that you got this wisdom, you're higher now. You can see further because you have a better perspective. You're not as low in the wisdom category, and whatever category we're speaking with wisdom, because there's all different types of wisdom and realizations. But now that you're higher and can absorb more, you absorb that. Now look for more. Be open for more. Let it happen to you naturally. It will come to you. Sometimes you think hard about something that you've been through years ago, and you can't find the answer to it, and you wonder why, why did this person break up with me? Or why did this person treat me funny? Or, what's up with that? And, you think hard and it doesn't come. Well, guess what? You're driving along, you're hearing some music, you're not even thinking about it, and all of a sudden, bing, it comes to you. Like, wow, that's the answer. I could see it now. Nothing changed, but your mind wasn't getting in the way of itself, trying to figure out something that if you relax and let things happen naturally, things will come to you faster, sometimes a little later, sometimes years. Let me tell you something. I could be up here at night or the morning or down in the studio doing something, and a missing piece of a dilemma of something I was trying so hard to figure out, it came to me. It came to me in a way where, say I was thinking about a certain individual who they had issues with me that I didn't know about. It was their insecurities. But it came to me why, in a way that I couldn't even purposely backtrack myself to think and have this thing come to me and say, oh, wow, that's the reason why they can't maintain relationships with males, because of what happened to them when they were younger. And once they get close enough, it triggers off something. This was a specific situation. And I thought about it. And I'm like, yeah, I see a pattern. So that was a form of wisdom that came to me. But you can't force it. That's the thing about it. You cannot force that next level. You can't force wisdom. You can learn through books, but it has to be digested right. I mean, how many people go to a nice restaurant, sit down and eat, take their time, eat, whether they're talking with other people or they're by themselves, and as soon as they take the last bite, get up and run out? No. You got to take time and absorb it. Even if you don't wait for the full digestive process to happen, I'm not saying that, but let it get in you. Feel the digestive bliss. And in time, you'll get up and you move about. So when things come to you, take your time. Don't force it. When you see it, be still and ride with it. And it will reveal itself to you. There are days I wake up, I don't know what I'm going to talk about on social media, because, I like to put things out every day, but I don't force it. There's some days every now and then I don't do anything at all because of other things that I'm doing. And I want to be natural when I do it. Like, I don't want to get down and force it. No. You want things to flow. I don't have a script in front of me, but I will backtrack on what I said and write an article and put it up on my website that's more technical with the freestyle, so you can get it both ways. That's my style. That's what I do. That's why you have to go to LanceScurvX.com. You'll see some things on there that you won't see on this particular social media platform. Some people like to read more than they do wanting to hear somebody talk. That's the way it is. People learn different ways. Some people, they say, man, I'm not feeling this. They've got a touch to learn. Man, I don't hear you. They have to be told, orally. I mean, that was A-U-R-A-L for those who are like in the gut up. And some people say, well, I'm not hearing you, I'm not feeling you. There's different ways that people learn and they tell you, So take your time. There's no rush. And just understand before I go on to say this one little thought and stick it in there. Your life is not waiting for having the expectation of these grand moments that you're going to have. Like, I'm working now and I'm doing this every day, but there's going to be this monumental moment that comes that's going to be life-changing. What happens if it doesn't come? The little moments when you're holding your child and they giggle or they burp up on you and the whole room laughs. That's special. Or when you realize you care for somebody so much and they're going on a trip and you're at the airport and you realize it's going to be a couple of weeks, a couple of months before you see them again. And there's a love in their eye and a sadness of not being around you. Ooh, that's so sweet. And you're sad, but it's a sweet moment because you realize it's a connection. You see, when we look back on our lives lots of times, while we're living, we don't realize that this life is a collection of moments that are routine. Get up, go to work, walk down the same street, eat the same lunch, or come home the same way, do the same task at home to maintain. Yet in the back of our mind, we're waiting for these big moments that are moments that stick out. Photo album moments, right? The graduation, the winning of a trophy, the wedding, the this, the that, the first purchase, of your home, purchase of this vehicle. But those may appear to be highlights, but are those really the things that bring you super joy? Because those are far and few between. Most people's lives are routine, day in and day out, the same thing to maintain. And when they don't have these super duper life-changing moments, after a while they look back and say, is this it? Don't look for those. Those will come. It's like a boxer. You go in the ring, you're not looking for the knockout. You're not looking to get the guy knocked out because you might not get it. And then looking for that big punch, he may have outpointed you and win the fight. You do what you have to do. You wear down the opponent. If the knockout presents itself, you take it. But if in your everyday, you have those small moments of joy that bring joy to your heart, you'll never forget those, number one. And they sweeten up your day. So don't give up those moments waiting for the big moment when you're going to be this big movie star and this big, no. I got friends of mine that call me about the little laughs that we had. I was speaking to a friend of mine the other day, and there was a guy in the neighborhood, a little older than us, but he was still young, 3, 4 years older than us. And it was 2 a.m. We were giggling and laughing about something. We were in the street in front of our houses, residential neighborhood. We weren't loud. So this guy was dancing, making fun of, I think he was making fun of some other guy who was at this block party. And he had these glasses on, right? So he's dancing. And he had bent down all the way when he was dancing, and the glasses fell off. And they cracked up. Now, we weren't evil toward him, but the way he stopped and realized his glasses, his spectacles were broken, and everybody got quiet, that was so funny. Not vindictive, not evil, not laughing at him, because I laugh at myself. I'm very self-effacing. I tell jokes on myself. I tell stories about myself that don't make me look too cool because I'm comfortable in my skin. And he laughed. He was cracking up too, and the glass was still on the ground, and all little bits of the glass. It was funny. He took the frame and, kicked away the glass and everything, and all night. And even the next week, we'd come out, we'd see him, we were like, bah! We all knew what the laugh meant. He was like, yeah, that was funny. Beautiful moment. That was like, I think it was like 1975, 76. I think it was like 75, I was 12 years old, 76, I was 13. It's a long time ago. And here we are in 2026, and my friend calls me up, remember that time? I'm like, yeah, I remember that. That's beautiful. That wasn't a trophy moment, but that was something shared amongst the few, that even if we have the luxury of a transition bed, that we think and we look back on our life, we say, wow, I remember that moment. That's the beautiful thing. Because nobody remembers how many millions you have in the bank. They don't remember the car, the luxury car that you may have had. You might remember it, but at that moment of transition, you won't even think about that. Maybe others who you may still have these things in your possession and they're around you, they may be thinking of ways to fight over with themselves to get what you have. Well, he's about to die. Let me see if I can get this, and let me see if I can get that. People are like that. Hopefully you have enough wisdom to weed them out, to have people around you who truly care for you. And one of the only ways is to give that, but they have to be worthy. When you give care and love, or give with a loving heart, and a person shows themselves not to have been worthy, don't get mad. Karma will get them sooner or later. Or they'll have a need again and can't come to you. Oh man, I messed up. Cussed them out. I messed up. I told them I ain't paying them back. SHI, well, now you need money again, but you can't ask. You know what I mean? My answer in those cases, like, well, listen, you see the money you owe me? Take it out of that. You know what I mean? I'm not mean, but you still have to defend your peace of mind and not let anybody walk all over you. Very important to do so, but that's pretty much my message. I'm still gonna come back with something later on, but I saw the sun and I was peaceful. I had a little meal. And I was like, let me get up here and talk a little bit. Still gotta sweep out here a little bit, do little things, but I'm flowing, I'm peaceful, I feel good. And more is coming to me, right? Let's see what that is on the next one. Anyway, much love to you all. Salute to my brothers. Much love to my sisters. Thanks for coming through. I love the comments and reactions and agreements and disagreements or whatever it may be. It helps me to grow. I have a lot of growing to do. I may be 63 years old, but I'm a growing young boy. So I have a lot ahead of me. That's the way I feel. Whether it is or isn't, life is wonderful. I keep my slate clean and I'm ready to absorb even more. And what I absorb, if you need it, you can feel free, I'll share it with you. That's what life is all about. The vibration of being with each other. We have social media, but it's not social. Now, it used to be, but people bring their representatives in the mask that they wear, and now we're all strangers to each other and can't connect because we have these barriers. How sick is that? Anyway, that's a whole other thing. Much love to you all. Take care. On to the next one. Lance Scurv out. Peace, and thank you for being here.